Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Drunken Dragon Gaming, where the drinks are cold, the meals are warm, and the games are on fire. However, tonight we're not actually going to be playing games. We're going to be prepping for a game. We're going to be making use of Dungeon Alchemist and going to be making some maps for upcoming tabletop games. Joining me tonight, I've got two good friends. I got Floristic. Most of you already know Floristic. And then I've got another really good friend of mine, Ringtail, who's going to be
don't
joining us.
Don't call me that.
Don't call you that? Well, that's your name.
Why is it still calling me that? It is not my name. Keeps doing
all right.
that.
I have the inventor of all things cool with me. Well, I didn't think you wanted me to call you your actual name, so.
Well, don't call me the name I constantly change every time I'm on a server. It's not giving me an option to change it.
Give me a name you want me to call you.
We've been going like Painter and most stuff now.
All right, so I got Painter with me. Who actually, he is the one that created my logo for me, chat. He did an amazing job, didn't he? And so, yeah, like I said, I've got Floristic and Painter here with me. So, Painter is also the one who created the god that Floristic's character is going to be following.
Wow.
On my screen here, you can see that I've got myself like a little temple complex that I've been working on. But that is not what we're going to be working on today. We're going to just kind of save this and, put it off to the side. Hey, what's up, DDP? Or otherwise known as Brad, the chef extraordinaire, who also paints. As long as he doesn't paint his food, I think we're good.
Depends on what he paints it with.
This is true. All right, so we're going to start off with, we're actually going to kind of create a little battle area for them to deal with, so they can get used to how combat works. So we're going to do an initial thing here. We're going to make this a meadow to make it a little easier with no weather. And we're not even going to be putting any buildings on this. We're going to do it with grasslands. That makes it easy. And we're going to have a river going through it. So in 30 by 30 tiles, that's plenty big enough. Oh, man. Now you're making me hungry. Pulled pork. I love me some pulled pork. So, chat, you can see even, angling this, you can see that it's got not much to it. This is a pretty basic map. Okay? I like how the lighting, as we, shift around, you can see the sun hits it, and you've got some nice little details, whatnot. But that's it. That map is finished. There's not anything else I need to do to this. That was a quick map, wasn't it? We're going to call this the testing grounds. Oh, smoked it for 14 hours. What wood did you use? What was the smoke blend you used there, Brad? So now we get interesting. So those of you that joined the stream yesterday know that the group made a general consensus on how they want to start their game. And, I did say that I didn't want to run the generic, you all meet in a tavern type of deal. And I threw out some options. I threw out the option of they already knew each other. They'd already been traveling together. They turned all those down. Oh, just straight hickory. Okay. Oh, adds a nice little spiciness to it. Nice. I like it. But so they decided to go with, in my opinion, what is one of the most challenging openings to start with. We're going to do this with a 30 by 30 tile map, but it's not going to be in the grasslands. We are going to do this in the Badlands. And, well, not the Badlands, that's the desert. Let's go with, we're going to stick this in the middle of the forest. Alright, we're going to make the elevation. Let's go with let's throw some hills in on this. Okay. The buildings are going to be at the water level. We're not going to have a river on this. We don't want any water on this map. And we're going to do this with a broadleaf forest. So it's kind of buried in there. Yeah. They all decided they actually want to start off waking up in a crypt with no memory of how they got there. Alright, so here's our base map. This is what we're going to work with. Now, as we add in building pieces, it's going to start erasing things. And that's exactly what we want to do. So we're going to go to the crypt. And the first thing we want is the burial chamber, because this is where we're going to start. So we're going to put the burial chamber up here at the top. Don't want it to be too big. We're going to go, 14 by 5 is not a bad size room. Actually, 14 by 6 I think is going to be better. So we're going to throw the burial chamber in right here. Alright, now we got to do some tweaking on this. We're going to make some serious adjustments. Now, the nice thing with this is the fact that it's actually going to, when I export this out, all these light sources and everything will actually be light sources on the game. But right now, we've only got 3 slabs there, and that's not going to work for us. So, let's go place some objects. And I want, not cutlery. Let's see, what do we have here? Probably going to wind up falling into the furniture, would be my guess. Yeah, we're going to look at furniture. Alright, and while I'm tinkering around with this, I'm going to stop talking to chat for just a moment. Because I'd like to have an opportunity to allow Floristic and Painter here to chat a little bit. As Floristic has created himself a sea holy warrior. And he is following a goddess that my good friend Painter here is the one that actually, he's the one that created it. So I'd like to let 2 of you be able to chat a little bit about what you've got going on. And, they're still brand new to the world, Painter. So we don't want to overwhelm them, but at the same time, want to actually give them information.
Yeah.
All right. So I think maybe with Floristic, maybe you should talk to him a little bit about your character backstory and what you were thinking, and then let him tell you a little bit about what Lunea is all about from his perspective, since he is the creator of that goddess.
I'm a sea holy warrior. But actually, my parents in the background story of my character are killed. Reading on your goddess that she tended to the children, and tied in that she is the mother of tides. Yeah, I was pretty happy to find out there was a goddess to follow.
Okay. Yeah. You're saying your parents were killed?
Yeah.
That's So she's got a few different elements. She's got a lot going on, but more like an actual deity from polytheistic stuff, as opposed to a lot of really one-note gods in fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of her aspects is vengeance, right?
Hey, it all fit into the storyline.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the way I went with it was we were doing like a birthright style game, and I was doing a nautical nation, and I needed a deity that would work well for a nautical nation. And I always like the idea, you know, the moon affects the tides. So I went with, okay, instead of just doing a sea deity, I'm going to do a moon deity. There was some greediness here because I want to make sure this deity is pertinent to more than just the coast. So I also made her, she's a deity of the moon and nighttime. So I made her a protector of travelers. And I also made her heavily related to, like, family. She's also a love goddess, but not in the sense that she's not like an Aphrodite. In fact, if anything, she's probably more like a Hera. In that she is a goddess of, or even Hestia, in that she is a goddess of all kinds of love, from the, you know, romantic to the familial. And she's big on family and fidelity. So, in some parts of, like, in Gaian's Rest, where she's, you know, her primary church is, they like, it's so strongly, you know, held to that infidelity is a crime punishable by death. She can be a bit hardcore, which was something I was actually taking from another moon goddess from kind of like Artemis a little bit. She has some of those things, but not really, because, you know, Artemis is like a virgin goddess, very different goddess of the hunt. But I was taking that kind of harsh, vengeful element from Artemis. In fact, if you can compare her more to the Greek goddess, she'd probably be more like Selene. In fact, her story is inspired by Selene to some degree, in that she first, at least according to the mythology, her first kind of appearance to mortals was because she saw this man she felt was beautiful, and she basically intervened on his behalf because he was about to get executed. And Selene, she's like becomes obsessed with this man who's extremely beautiful, so she like puts him to sleep. It's like a reverse Sleeping Beauty, where it's the dude who falls asleep and then wakes up like 100 years later with a crap ton of kids, and he's like, what the hell? It's a little weird. It doesn't get quite so daybreak with Linnea. But yeah, I drew through a lot of things, like how the imperial family in, like, Japan supposedly got these, like, relics from Amaterasu. I had, like 3 sacred relics. There's a lot of things like that. Is there anything specifically you'd want to know more about?
Huh. Yeah, well, basically, what are, because we are gonna be a bunch of travelers. Seeing that I left, that I was left as a kid, how did tie in like a bit more with my story? And I know it's a personal question directed to me more than to you. But
Okay.
how do you see it fitting? Like, would she have appeared to me as a kid at the moment that I lost my parents or something like that?
That
That
no.
been an option?
I would probably think of it more realistically, or more grounded. She wouldn't necessarily like appear to you, right? More likely,
Yeah.
what would have happened is more like, well, you're an orphan, so Lunea's church, big on taking care of kids. So of course they run orphanages. So you were probably brought into a Lunean orphanage and raised by the priestesses.
Oh,
Or the priestess,
okay.
depending on how big the orphanage is.
Yeah.
Lunea does have male priests, but most of her clergy are female. I can't remember if I had it where the male priests aren't as well respected, or if it's more egalitarian. I think it is more egalitarian. It's just Lunea is a goddess, so most of her priests are female. There's actually, I think it went from order to order on how they see male priests.
Okay.
So you would have been probably raised in an orphanage like that, and maybe she, her teachings resonated with you. Or maybe just the people there at the orphanage were so good to you, you ended up ultimately deciding that you wanted to enter that clergy and do right by others the same way you were done right by. The fact that you were a child whose parents were killed, were they murdered, or was it just like an accident?
Nah, I think they were murdered. Pretty sure.
Yeah. Well, if your parents were murdered, the fact that Lunea is definitely no stranger when it comes to vengeance might have resonated with you, because she's big on her primary aspect is protector of families and caretaker. But when things go wrong, she's very much vengeance. In fact, I think the way I had it was often the moon itself is symbolically represented with it is usually symbolic of her more overt aspects of like love and protection and travel. But the new moon, or the black moon, or however we want to put it, is symbolic of her wrath. And she can be a very wrathful deity, whenever kith or kin have been harmed, whenever the laws of hospitality have been violated. She's big on retribution in that sense. So And that's what that normally, the new moon or an eclipse is. The lunar eclipse is kind of symbolic of in Lunaean religion. Now, it is possible that you might have had if you wanted to go with the more fantastical, it is possible you might have had a dream where you believe Lunea has, contacted you. And it's not like she's a stranger to doing things, as my previous character was very surprised to have great grandma show up at his wedding. Or at least that's what they believe, I would imagine in places outside of Galleon's Rest, the whole the Galleon family descends from Lunea might be seen with a little bit more of a, maybe it's true, maybe they're just kooky. That's
okay. Like a bit more going deeper into the worshipping of, are there specified rituals that I should be aware of?
Rituals. I think the main thing ritualistically to keep in mind is that seawater or salt water is used for most things, they do have more or less something like baptism because seawater. I think it was their services, their religious services, are always held in open air at night. Traditionally, it's just during the full moon is when the big service is a thing. Like, they don't go to church every Sunday; they go to church on the full moon. Now they do more rituals and stuff like that, but it's always at night, under the moonlight. So, the main rituals are like weddings, baptisms or christenings. They probably do funerals, but I would imagine, depending on the region, they might just let another religion kind of hold that, and this is like a really big, member of the church who's very devoted to Lunea, in which case it'd be yeah, we'll do that. Which their burials are burials at sea. They, or river or lake, body of water. They kick you off in a boat and shoot a flaming arrow. Their weddings actually involve a basin of seawater, and the husband and wife will cut their hand and their bleed into the basin and mingle their blood. The christening is basically just the baptism. Admittedly, they just do the sprinkle. They don't do the dunk because then it's that's risky. Keep the, don't hurt the kid. If you do make Lunaeans holy water, it is always made with salt water. It doesn't work with anything else. Ritualistically,
well, you kind of mentioned Linnea's holy water. Is that a thing that I would be able to create myself.
Mic off.
I believe you should just be able to make holy water.
Mic on.
What's your role with holy water, Chris?
He cannot,
He can't?
because he's a holy warrior, not a cleric.
No, that seems pretty artificial.
If he was a holy warrior that had taken the lens of cleric, then it would be.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like a holy warrior should be able to bless water. Is there what specific advantage are you tying it to?
That's a bit of a tough one to figure out. Because he is blessed.
Yeah, I feel like blessed should be either blessed or true faith.
Actually, no, the fact that he has religious ritual as a skill, he can use that to actually create it.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, you should be able to make holy water.
I will be right back, guys, and I'll be right back, chat. And yep, Brad, I just saw your video you sent. I'll take a look at it here in a little bit, but that does look cool.
Mic off.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just holy water though. It's like normal holy water. You just have to make it with salt water. It's just
Link
part of the ritual.
established. Mic off. Link established.
I mean, silver is like also kind of like important. Like they don't make things. Like they don't make everything out of like gold, like you'd expect in like a. If you imagine like a Catholic church or something, it's not all covered in gold. It's all covered. It'd be covered in silver, and they have a strong love of like blues, especially dark blues. The Lunan's clergy usually wear blue, black, and silver. Sometimes just blue and silver, you know. But
mic on.
But they're more big on like using silver for things because of its purity and mood.
Okay.
Yeah, Floristic, it just happened to be a lucky surprise that Painter joined us in chat. You know, he happened to jump in just before I started the stream. I was like, well, hey, you can talk to Floristic about Lunea.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting to kind of get this feeling of what
Another thing that Chris probably doesn't want to deal with this, but you would have to think about this. In Lunane religion, clerics aren't celibate. The big thing they're focused. In fact, the reverse is they are expected to have a family often, or to want to build a family, which gets iffy when you're a holy warrior, especially when you're an adventurer.
But it doesn't mean it can't happen.
Yeah. And often, Lunaean.
I'll make sure he meets a fiery redhead in the red light district named Jezebel.
Oh God. It's not where I thought you were taking that.
So one of the things I'm going to be giving him is he's actually going to be his character's going to be using a sword or be using an axe and a shield.
Makes sense.
And so I'm going to, as the game progresses, I'm going to let him gain a shield that actually has the symbol of Lunea on it.
Well, that's really easy considering what the symbol of Lunea is.
Right. But he also has weapon bond. His weapon bond will be with probably an axe. Although he was kind of leaning more towards having a mace. And axe mace, they use the same skill.
Yeah. Axe makes a lot of sense if you're going with the more nautical character. But I know the classical.
Well, he has a minor issue of waking up in a crypt and having no idea how close to water he actually is.
Yeah, that's true. He is a sea holy. Well, no, that'd be cleric. It's like you can always make it as nautical can say.
Now we have another player that's going to be joining us. It's going to be a spell archer, which you and I both know that's a challenging one to play, but it can be very entertaining and enjoyable when done correctly.
Yeah. That's the other thing. Lunaean clergy, right, tend to function like a more familial than anything else. So that's a thing to consider with how the character might think about necessarily the party. My holy warrior, who worshipped Lunea, which I did. I played another character who worshipped Lunea, who was a holy warrior. Pretty much ended up being Team Dad, but that might just be because normally I'm the responsible one and everyone else.
His character was a right bastard because everybody kept on coming up with ideas and he kept on shooting it down. Now, just because they were stupid ideas didn't mean they weren't coming up with ideas. Oh, I'm gonna hang out in this room when you leave, and now I can't see where I'm going.
Yeah, I think there was literally a moment where I grabbed a player or a character by the ear. Yeah.
Hey, Corruptor.
Got goofy.
Blitz, what's going on, buddy?
But
sorry, we're in heavy discussion here.
Yeah.
I'm getting called out for not talking to chat.
Yeah. Protection and family being big elements of the religion. If your character gets attached to the party, you're more likely to start taking on more of a familial kind of engagement with them. That's pretty typical kind of D&D type stuff. It's either very familial or it's very business-like.
All right, so got this room that we've added all the spider webs to. Got a decent hallway coming through on both sides.
Also, a thing.
I've been doing all right, Blitz. Thank you.
With you being a holy warrior, are you part of a martial order, or are you just part of a normal order and then you became more militaristic, or?
We haven't really defined that yet.
Because technically, I don't think you even have to be part of an order to be a holy warrior.
He does not.
He can just be a warrior who happens to be very, very, very religious.
He's very devout.
Yeah.
And he's looking to make babies so he can have a family.
Yeah. Now that's another thing. You don't just want to just make babies. They're big on the marriage part. They're big on the marriage part.
I appreciate that, Corruptor. I knew today I was going to be a little less interaction with chat, only because it's going to be focused on doing this map creation for their opening map, and also because Unexpectedly, I had Painter available, who is one of my other tabletop players, and he was instrumental in creating several pieces in my world building. And so, what y'all are listening to right now is Painter is explaining Floristic the god and the dogma of the god that he's chosen for his character to follow.
So, Chris, kind of as an example of just how intense these people can be about marriage, why don't you explain that magic item you came up with, and then I'll add the little note.
Wait, which magic item? I came up with so many
The ring.
Oh, God.
The one that I basically said, you know what? Yeah, no, they probably make these.
The fidelity ring?
Yes.
Oh. Oh.
All
right.
Theirs probably work a little differently because of the magics they would have access to, but...
So...
Well, Chris going, oh, and that makes me wanna... What was it? What kind of item is it?
Basically, the ring is a wedding band. Okay? And it's shared between the couple. The thing is that should you be not loyal to your spouse, and I don't want to go into details because they could come across these in game, Patrick or Painter. But let's just say things are not going to go well for you if you're unfaithful.
Yeah. And they're not easy to remove.
Oh, they're easy to remove. He's got an axe. Hey,
but
the
yeah,
fact,
they probably...
the fact that the finger goes with it is inconsequential.
But yeah, we were joking about it one day, and somebody was like, oh, but they probably don't do that. And I'm like, no, they make them. They probably make their own version of them. They're probably not exactly like the normal.
Now, what are we going to do with this great hall? Something in here. Because it came out really empty.
But,
and chat, so the software that I'm using is called Dungeon Alchemist. I like using this map making software because, and you'll probably get to see it here towards the end of the stream, I can actually export this map, and all of my light sources, all the walls and everything will automatically be set up. As a DM doing virtual tabletop, this kind of software saves me a lot of time. However, I'm going to go here to the objects. We're going to do some painting, and we're going to go erase objects. Let's get these trees and everything out of here. Alright. Oh, look at that. See, that's why I did that. There's a door there that I didn't see. I do kind of like the door being there, but I don't like the ground being... Actually, no, I can work with that. I know exactly what I want to do. Okay. Go back over to the objects. And let's get ourselves a nice... right here in the middle of this room. That looks nice and pleasant. The fountain is humongous. And only because I'm kind of giving it a little bit of a theme. we're going to go back over here. And we're going to kind of line these up. Duplicate it. Let's get another one here. Let's turn this a little bit. Like that. There we go. But no, I do appreciate you guys calling me out on not paying attention to the chat. And I realize this is not a game. You know, this is actually a map making software that is available through Steam. I actually was part of the Kickstarter, or more specifically, one of my other players was part of the Kickstarter, and he knew how much I loved my map making software, and he added me to the Kickstarter so that I could have this tool available to me. And this tool has wound up being just absolutely invaluable. We're not going to cover all of this in webbing. We're going to do a little bit there. We're going to turn this a bit. It shouldn't be lit like that. That's annoying. And we'll add a little twist here. There we go. That works. And then we're going to add in this inside of there. And we're going to take another one and we're going to add it over here. And then one last one I'm going to stick there. Alright. So this way, basically what's going to wind up happening, they get a top-down perspective on the map is what they're going to get. But what's going to wind up happening here, chat, is, oh yeah, see I got an empty area there. We got to fill that in a little bit. So let's fill this in like so. We'll see if they notice it. So what's going to wind up happening is that they're going to start the game off with no gear whatsoever. And having no gear whatsoever, well, hopefully they might be able to find something here in this crypt that they can use. So we've gotten most of the rooms finished. We still have to take care of this front room here, which is going to be their exit. And once we finish this front room here, this will be a mostly complete map. I'll still want to kind of do some stuff on the outside and whatnot, but this is coming together fairly quickly, fairly nicely. I do really love this software. But sorry, guys, I stepped all over y'all there, but I did want to make sure I chat with chat there for a second. So back to you two.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Is there anything else you would like to know?
Is there anything more that I should know?
I do not know. I don't want to drag it just down talking about this thing I made because I will do that. I just blabber on about it.
Well, you did such an amazing job with Linnea. You know, that was... I love the creation of Linnea. It was just such a well done goddess. And that information is actually available on Scabbard. Let me pull this up real quick.
It's not as done as I'd like it. Like I said, I need to update it. So.
Oh, I understand you there. What I was going to do is I was actually going to pull Ixia up. Because Ixia actually, Ixia is the name of my world. Inside Ixia, you actually have all the rules for character creation and all that kind of stuff. So I am going to... I'm going to throw a link in the chat. However, Floristic.
Yeah.
I'm going to send this to you as well on Discord. Can you make a command for just Ixia?
Yeah, sure.
And it'll go to that scabbard link there that'll take them to the world's information.
Okay.
And I will come over here and I will drop the link to Ixia there as well for you guys. In case you're interested in exploring more of the world, there are many characters, all kinds of areas. The world has lots of details in it, so... Now, what are we going to do with this front entrance? This front entrance is going to be the interesting area. I do like how this is working and how this is looking. They're definitely going to have some interesting exploration options when they first wake up. Double checking to make sure there aren't any other doors going outside. No, everything else is solid. Okay. All right, so this is kind of some basic map building going on. And the best part is that, sure, Floristic's going to be playing in the game. He can see the things I've thrown on the map. But the things I've thrown on the map tells him nothing about what he's actually going to be dealing with. And this is what I was saying, Floristic. Yeah, I'm not too worried about you seeing what I'm making.
Nah.
Because you're left going, all right, well, there's some stuff. I see spider webs.
Yeah. I mean, I can keep a mental note of where things are, but that's not gonna happen with me. Basically, I can only see what my character sees, so even if I know some or get an idea of things.
Oh, wait, no, delete that. I want to do this instead. Yeah, there we go. I like that. Much better. And we're going to hang one of these here. And then we're going to hang one of these here. Make sure it lines up. That looks pretty lined up. All right. So as far as any encounters they're going to have on this map, none of that's going to be done here. This is just giving the baselines on the map. What's in the rooms? What can they find? What kind of gear can they find? What kind of information can they find as to why they're here? That all gets done in-game. As far as looking at the map itself, the biggest thing that they'll have is that they'll wind up going, I remember seeing on the stream there was a room over there. Okay, now that's where it gets a little But for the most part, I don't mind. Let's see. Now, what's the other thing we're going to add here? We got our storage, we got our structural. We need some utility items. Here we go. Let's take this. Stick that there. And stuff that belongs in here. Because, you don't want to just drop random stuff in the map. And we may still add some more things, but, well, okay, we're going to need to have this. These are going to be important. Why won't you put that on the... Oh, because it wants to be on the wall. Can I put that on there? It won't let me put anything on the altar. That's annoying. No, we don't need a magic carpet. We don't need a hand of glory. Ooh, hand of glory, that's a nasty thing. I don't like any of these items. So anything they're going to find, we're going to wind up describing. Ah, here we go. We do want this here. And we want a second one here. And one more there. Alright. And then, no, we don't need any of that stuff. So many choices. Oh, wait, a pipe. Yep. I like the idea of having a pipe available. We're going to put that there. And then, oh yeah, we got to have this. We need a bookshelf. So we're going to look up bookshelf. Here we go. And we're going to go with, I like this one. So that's going to go there. And we've got some books. And apparently I just cannot do anything with that altar whatsoever. So we're going to put books there. I'm going to duplicate it. Stick some there. And some there. And some over here. Alright. And for the opening map, I believe this is all they need. I may still come back in here and make some alterations to some of the torches and stuff. But this looks like a completed map, chat. So we're going to save as, and we're going to call it the opening crypt. And we're not going to export it yet because we don't actually have anything set up to export it to. But I'm thinking I'm liking the look of this. This is, yeah. And with a standard group of players, this map looks like it's got about 3 game sessions worth of exploration. With Floristics group, it's probably going to be closer to 5. Not saying anything against them, it's just because it's all new to them. And so they're still learning how stuff works. I think this is going to work out nicely. All right. Yeah, the reason I asked you to add the Ixia command, Floristic, was so that when we start actually streaming this game on Sundays, if people have questions, we can just go, blink, there you go. There's the information for the game. So, oops. So chat, I mean, it was a pretty quick map. It didn't take long to build. You guys can see that. Like I said, it could still use a little tweaking, but this basically has everything I want for a starting map. It's got plenty of pieces to it. It's got lots of exploration and stuff. And it's got some stuff in there that's going to make some people have the heebie-jeebies. So we're going to save this again. And so chat, with that, map creation is completed. So apologize for the short